been a while since we did a video, so I thought maybe, hey, I'll do a video. So there's our little wagon full of succulents. I think I need to move those guys someplace in the ground and put new ones in the wagon because they're getting too big. These are not succulents. These are just rose clippings. These are our roses. I've clipped them way back because, well, they're healthier this way and they don't get all over the roof and they don't need as much water and they make prettier flowers. Aren't those good reasons? And then underneath, we have the pot marigolds have taken over. They're just like, they're immortal, I believe. And there were some tulips in here. They didn't do very well. They got pretty good blades, but they never really had very good stalks. And I hear that is not uncommon with second, third, fourth year tulips. So no big deal. We took out that big tree that was here last year. Took it out in summer sometime. And the other rose bush I've cut back. Little tree over in the corner. I was thinking about taking it out because it's actually not a very good tree to have around. They propagate too readily. But I cut it back a couple of years ago and it seems to be nice now. And I like the shade that it gives underneath. So we have California poppies and this guy, which is new this year and very, very pretty. I like it. And at the moment I don't remember its name, but I think it might have come from the wildflower seeds that I planted. Here we have the side bed. These guys, these irises, they were the original inhabitants of this particular bed with the bricks around it, and they're in their 5th or 6th season, but they're taking off right now. They're doing pretty well. We'll go over to the others in a second, but this is a wildflower seed pot, and these guys are brand new this year. We will have a name for them pretty soon, but I don't recognize them yet. They must have needed a winter to propagate, to, sit in there and fumigate or whatever the hell it is they do when they're getting ready. Again, more pot marigolds. I love them. They're beautiful and they're absolutely no trouble to raise. The dandelions, I'm leaving dandelions in for a while because, well, hey, they're not really bad guys. They're really good guys and the bees love them. There are some irises in pots. That pot used to have irises and blueberries. Blueberries don't do well for me. They keep dying. So now there is a pot full of weeds. Aren't they lovely? And as I said, these irises, which are the same as the one we saw over there, they're the same family. They went in at the same time. They're just now starting to have some heads on them, and hopefully they'll live for a while because it's been stinking hot for here. It was close to 90 yesterday. Today's cooler. I don't know, these guys hate heat, but when they're starting to blossom like this, they don't particularly love it. So, Sweet Alyssa, more or less a volunteer, but I like it so it can stay. And some more of those guys. The succulents under the yucca tree are massive, and the yucca tree itself is even massiver. It's a huge guy. So lots of California poppies in with pot marigolds over here, and a little wine barrel full of other succulents and an iris or two. That's pineapple guava, a feijoa tree. I've moved 4 of them from the backyard into the front yard. They make very nice little fruits. It will get probably about 5 or 6 feet tall and it will either be a bush or a tree depending on how I trim it. Dusty Millers, more pot marigolds, more California poppies. The fountain grasses are in a dormant kind of stage right now. If you look around on the ground, all of that mulch laying around is the leaves, or the grasses, the brown grasses. This one's more brown. This one is starting to turn green. And the stuff on the ground is when I just take my hand and rip at that, all that brown stuff comes off, and it makes really good mulch. Our little salvia plant in the back, doing pretty nice. It's like its third season. It's going to get large, I think, and spread out over that area. But I wanted to fill in some more, so we got this guy earlier in the month and put it in, and that one too will spread. So that whole section in the back there will probably get covered up mostly by those two plants. And for instance, Kill the Evil Grasses, which is the name of my garden. And these guys went in as the same time as the other new plant. So in the middle of the yard, the star attractions the last couple of years have been sunflowers. Well, they're back. We have more sunflowers. It feels like they're later than last year, but when I look at pictures, I don't think they really are. They're probably coming in about the same time. I've thinned out, doesn't look like it, I've thinned out both of these front two beds pretty heavily. And now I think that they're just about the right size that I'm going to have to further thin them out. Because they will get big. They'll get, you know, like the Sims would get 2 inches around, and they get, depending on the variety, but a lot of them get 15 feet tall. And so that's too crowded for that kind of stuff. And they'll be healthier if they just have more room. One of the things that I did is I put these two concrete blocks in here, and I'm kind of using that as segregation for the sunflowers that are growing up in there. These, I've already thinned these, so there's one. I was going to leave two in each hole, and when I thinned them, I thought that's what I did, but I think they got sneaky, and now these both have more than two. That one over there looks like it has 4, maybe even 5. So, and I have to thin that out. This bed was mostly, I think it had one other plant in it last year. It was mostly sunflowers last year, and as you can see, there are sunflowers around the edges that I've left as they came up. But these pot marigolds did so well, and I really like them. They're pretty, and the critters like them. So I let them stay. These guys stayed over the winter when there was nothing in here, so they have a home. They're established, and I put in some succulents next to them. There's one hiding under there. There's one there. There's another one in there that isn't doing very well, and a tulip that won't last very long in this heat. Another one of the feijoas is in this little rocky area. That's what I did for all the trees. I made them a little rocky area. It's doing, of the 4 that I put in here, it's doing worst. So I'm not sure what to think about how it's going to go. So then there's this bed over on this side. Lots of lamb's ears, lots of Dusty Miller, some daffodils and tulips we're filling in back here. There's another feijoa tree. This one will be good as well. It's having a lovely time. And flax, huge flax. That flax is as tall as the roof, and a smaller one. And then new to this year, these two areas back here, I just tossed some leftover sunflower seeds back in to see how they would do in a different kind of environment. It's shadier, it's cooler, doesn't get quite as much sun. Looks like sunflowers aren't particular about that kind of stuff. Okay, there's also some tulips in here that are still doing okay. As a matter of fact, I noticed a while ago that there's a brand new one right there, and there's one. It's hard to see. It's stuck down in there. So this is all along the fence, which used to have bushes along it, but I've thinned them back to just the barest of covering because I don't want to water them. So those other plants back there, those are lettuce plants. Don't know where they came from exactly. Probably another one of the wildflower seeds packets that I threw in there. And in front of the tree on the street side, first off, right on the fence, some California poppies. They're hardy. And I also tossed sunflowers in here. And as you can see, sunflowers, not delicate. They'll grow if you let them do it. So these and the other ones over there as well, they both also need to be trimmed back, thinned out. And they'll both those guys and these guys will have another obstacle to deal with, and that is they are both underneath the tree, and those branches will grow out at what's that, 10-foot level, and over here a little lower even. So if these sunflowers are as big as the ones that have normally been growing up, they'll be right up into the tree at some point. So I haven't decided how to deal with that yet. I'm either going to just let them fight it out, or I might trim the branches back, because I cut this tree back every year anyway, and I could cut the lower stocky branches away and give these guys room to grow, which would be fine. You know, most of the tree is there for shade. The sunflowers would provide a lot of the same sort of benefit. And I just noticed there's another sunflower right there coming out by the other flax. So that's the tour. That's Ben's car because he's borrowing mine. That's his BMW. It's beautiful. And here's the rest of the yard. Look, evil grasses. See why they're evil? Because they're ugly and because they want stuff all the damn time. They want you to cut them. They want you to feed them. I'm not doing it. So what's going to happen? Between those bricks and those bricks, I intend to put in probably some sort of bedding, perhaps wine barrels like that, perhaps beds like that. I'm thinking wine barrels, and then just something that I like better than grass. All right, that's enough of my nonsense.